You're welcome back. Now, we've been talking about prisons, and a comprehensive campaign aimed at reducing the number of inmates in Ghana's prisons has been launched in Accra. The campaign, led by the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice and the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, is proposing non-custodial sentences or punishment for those who are caught to be engaged in petty crimes. Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative believes the move will help in decongesting the country's prisons, which is said to be housing almost double the capacity.
If you look at our laws, most of them have colonial antecedents dating back from the British system. The British have taken out of those laws from their books. Why are we keeping them in our books? There's a particular law that I find very funny, insulting the national flag. And anytime I see that law, I'm like, so if we say we are insulting the national flag, what is it? Is it Makasa Ghana flag or Yaboa? And now what it means. But I guess it was because in those days, the Union Jack, the British flag, people, because of when they wanted to fight against colonization, would remove the flag and probably burn it, deface the flag, destroy the flag. So that became a law. And then we just carried it into our books. When you look at our laws in Ghana, we don't have petty offenses as a classification in our laws, but we have misdemeanors. And so petty offenses, they form part of the misdemeanors. And this is a global campaign. It is not something that we are only doing in Ghana. It is something that globally, it's been realized that a lot of the petty offenses that we have target the poor. And it's because of the situations of the poor, because they are vulnerable and because they need to survive. Some of these offenses they commit. For example, somebody goes to a farm and steals plantain, or steals cassava, or steals food items. And you look at the quantity and you realize that it's because of poverty that somebody like that would do that. When you look at something like somebody who is hawking, and in our criminal books, hawking is a crime, stealing is a crime, Okada business is a crime, disorderly behavior is a crime, being drunken is a crime. So some of these little offenses, they target the poor unfairly, and so it looks like poverty is being criminalized. So that is the reason why globally there's a campaign going on to ensure that some of these offenses are decriminalized, so that the poor are not abused in terms of their human rights. Because when the police arrest them, they put them through a whole lot of stress. Apart from that, it affects them economically. The person is already poor. You've arrested the person, you've put the person in jail. The person might probably be a breadwinner. And it creates a whole lot of issues.
Fascinating stuff. Now, the prison service itself appears to be overburdened by the huge numbers. Now, they want the offences decriminalized to ease the congestion. Edem Akwa is the legal officer for the Ghana Prison Service.
Reduce, if not drastically, the outbreak of communicable diseases in the prisons. Also, it will also help us to better classify the prisoners that we have. We have high risk. Somebody goes to steal banana or food stuff and he's there. But because the prisons are congested, we cannot, segregate them. So everybody will get a better place to be, which will help our reformation and then the transformation that we are to do being our mandate. And so for us in prison service, we think that this initiative, it's a welcoming one. And we want to say that we are behind or strongly supporting the initiative. And so for us, we said, don't worry, we are behind you, and we're giving you the full support. And for DPP and the police, help us so we decongest our prisons. It's very, very important to us.
Director of Public Prosecutions Yvonne Atakra Obuobisa spoke on behalf of the Attorney General.
Petty offences. I would say in about 23 or so odd years of practicing, I have never charged anybody for what you would say are some of these very minor offences. Some of these offences are begging to be removed from our statute books, I would say. I mean, there are some like aiding or permitting escape of a prisoner of war, drunk or disorderly behavior, habitual drunkenness. I mean, these are offenses. How many times, as journalists, have you heard of somebody being charged for habitual drunkenness? It is in our statute books, but how many times has it been used? Rarely. Using houses in town for drumming, Section 293. There is a lot of drumming going on. It is an offense. But have we ever heard of somebody being charged for using a house in town for drumming? Section 293 of Act 29 criminalizes it. And all the time people are having funerals, festivals, excessive noise. But how many times have people been hauled before the courts for what you would in term quote as a petty offense? Drumming with intent to challenge. Obstruction of public ways, which even includes putting a charm, juju, in the way. Somebody will go and throw a charm to prevent somebody from walking on that path. It is an offense in Ghana. Sometimes people do it. You wake up in your neighborhood, there is an earthenware vessel behind your house, and they have put all manner of things, maybe with some 3 eggs sitting on it. It is a charm, it is an offense. How many times? So let me be controversial. When we are talking about, first of all, like I said, I don't even know as a criminal law practitioner what we call the petty offenses. But for instance, there is 301. I was looking at it and laughing. Using a horse with fascie or glanders in the public way. In this day and age, this still remains. And so broadly for us, and then I also look at the statistics from my office. I look at the statistics from the Criminal Investigation Department, and what are the most common offenses? What are the offenses that they are investigating all the time and sending reports on? You hardly find any of these ones. You don't find habitual drunkenness. You don't find obstructing people or arrest of petty traders or the arrest of drivers. They are not the very common ones. The statistics are there. We can look at them. These are not the everyday ones that come to us. Neither are they the ones that the police themselves are habitually prosecuting.